What's up, YouTube? Big Dog here, back again for another edition of Big Dog Movie Reviews. Today we are reviewing a film, the most recent film by Clint Eastwood. That is Richard Jewell. Kind of a fan of Clint Eastwood's films. I've seen The Mule, and I think he does a good job. He does a good job. So, let's get into it. Same format as always: likes, dislikes, final score, final comments. Richard Jewell, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. So, the likes about Richard Jewell. There were several very well done scenes in the film that I thought were pretty top notch. One of which was spoilers. I mean, it's based on a true story. So for those who haven't seen the true story, spoilers. But one of the best scenes I liked was when he found the bomb in the park, and that whole sequence of him trying to get everyone away, all the other security officials and law enforcement trying to get everyone away, and when it went off, just how crazy the things were getting. Thought that was a very well done scene. As well as when John Hamm's character came and drops off a letter to Richard and his attorney Watson Bryant as they were eating breakfast or something, and Richard was found innocent. I thought that was a very powerful scene as well. Very powerful. You could really feel the emotions that were flowing through on that side of the camera, and just the relief and how happy they were. So that was a very good scene. Probably my favorite, honestly. Acting was pretty good across the board. Everyone talks about Kathy Bates as the standout. I thought Sam Rockwell was the standout performer for me. I thoroughly enjoyed his character and everything about his character, and I just loved the presence he had when he was on screen. And also followed shortly by Paul Walter Hauser playing Richard Jewell. Sam Rockwell, who played Watson Bryant, I don't know if I said that, but Paul Walter Hauser played Richard Jewell himself, and I thought both those two men did a very good job, but Sam Rockwell in particular, I think, to me, was the standout of the film. I also really liked how Richard didn't really know how to act when he was a suspect for the bombing. He kept saying these things. He's like, I want them to know that I'm law enforcement too. And he kept trying to help them, and he was kind of disregarding Watson Bryant's rules that he gave for him, just because he's just never been in this situation. He's just he just is an innocent guy, and he doesn't really see the big deal of how he's trying to help them find the suspect and everything. And I just got kind of showed a deeper level to the character of Richard. Just he just doesn't really know what to do. He's just kind of at a loss for words, which just, like I said, it just kind of speaks volumes to the character in my mind. And I also really liked how Watson was kind of tossed into things. He's not even a criminal defense attorney. From what I think, he was a small business attorney or something like that. But he's the only lawyer that Richard knew, so he just called him up, and Watson was like, yeah, sure, I guess I'll help. Then he timed and then right away, one thing I liked is he timed what it took from him to walk to the park to some payphone that the call was made at, and right away knew that Richard was innocent. So it's just which added a bit more fuel to Watson's fire, as he was just all right, he's innocent, let's prove it. I also loved how Watson and Richard and his mother were just appalled at how things were going down, and you can very easily tell that they were losing faith in the American justice system because of how things are happening, and how Richard was the prime suspect of the bombing, and just what they're going through. You can tell they're just losing faith in American justice, and I think that's very easily portrayed and very well done portrayed on the film. So a lot to like about that, and also I was pretty engaged through the whole film. There wasn't really a point where I was just ugh, film. I was pretty engaged with the whole film, and I was thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. Now on to the dislikes. They never really explained who this guy was. I'm assuming he was his friend at the gun range that Richard was talking to. I think he's Richard's friend, but they never really explained who it is really. Like I said, there's a scene where Richard's talking to some dude at a gun range. I'm assuming that's who it was, but I don't even know. But I would have just liked a quick few seconds to explain who it was, and just as he introduces him to his attorney, maybe just be like, oh, this is my friend Jeff or whatever his name was. I would have liked to see that. There was so they had the lie detector scene, which okay, obviously the lie detector is a very useful tool in something like this, but did it prove his innocence? Did they publish the results? They had the scene, but then they didn't really, to me at least, it wasn't very obvious what they did after that. So I would have liked to see that be a little more obvious, I guess, for my dumb ass to know. And also, the ending seemed kind of rushed. Like I said, I liked when he was innocent and everything, but pretty much everything other than that diner scene, it felt a little rushed to me. And even a little bit before that. And it just seemed a little messy to me is all. I felt they could have done a little bit cleaner, a little more clearer. But, yeah, that's all I have to say about the film. Like I said, I'm kind of a fan of Clint Eastwood's directing and his filmmaking. And this one is no exception, and Richard Jewell is no exception, scoring a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a very decent film, and very classic Clint Eastwood. Very slow pace, very monotonous. Not a whole lot of action to be seen. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I certainly don't mind slow films like this if they're done right. And Clint Eastwood seems to know what he's doing with that. So yeah, this keeps Clint Eastwood's streak of good movies alive, in my opinion. With Richard Jewell, 7 out of 10. But that's all I have. That's the review. It's going in the book. As always, do smash that like button. Do comment. Let me know what you thought of the film. If you thought it was better, if you thought it was worse, if you thought I was right in the money. I like to know other people's thoughts on film. And if you're any movie fan whatsoever, please do subscribe to the channel. I keep the movie reviews flowing. I just state my opinion on the films, what I liked about them, what I didn't like about them. Just a good second opinion if you've seen most of my reviews do have spoilers, so a good second opinion if you've seen the film already. And as always, if you're looking to get a little more involved with the channel, do follow the corresponding Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd accounts. The username for all three of those is at BigDogMR79. As always, I'll put it on the end of the screen at the end of the video, but that's all I have for today. Do come back for the next review, but until then, that's all I got. I'll see you guys later. Change the world.